So we're going to move on to some sculling. The first skull we're going to start with is called stationary sculling. I'm thinking everyone must have learned this. Make sure your fingers are together and you keep a bend in your elbows and your shoulders down. You're going to scull all the way behind your back and then all the way to the side, only moving your elbow joint. So you don't want to move your shoulders at all, just your arms bending in and then extending out. We're doing 30 sculls all together, keeping our chins lifted and our shoulders squeezed into our back pockets. Our calves are also closed in this position as well. This is the skull you would normally do to keep yourself up in any of the positions that we just practiced all together on land, and take a break. Well done, everyone. The next skull we're going to review is called head first skull. The only difference between stationary skull and head first skull is you extend your fingertips up towards your nose on both hands. So we're still bending our elbows, still having our shoulders down our back, and we're just lifting our fingertips. They should still be squeezed together. We're going to do 30 sculls like this, sculling all the way in under our bum and all the way out to the side, making sure that we are only bending our elbow joint and not moving our shoulders. This skull would help you travel head first in the water if you were doing any of the positions that we just practiced all together. And well done, everyone. So the next skull we're going to do is called foot first skull. So for this one, the only difference is you tilt your fingertips all the way down. You still want to make sure they're squeezed together, still want to make sure that our shoulders are squeezing into our back pockets and our chins are lifted. We're only moving from the elbow joint and keeping our shoulders stable and stationary, also keeping our catto closed in this position. In this skull, you would be able to travel foot first, which is why it's called foot first skull, in any of the positions that we just practiced. And we're going to be doing 30 sculls all together. Well done. Shake out your arms if you're tired. I know I am a little bit tired after doing all that sculling. The next skull we're going to work on is one that you haven't learned yet, called propeller. What you want to do is make sure that you are extending your wrists and bending your elbows. Both arms go over your head like you're raising the roof, and you actually want to scull in and out instead of up and down. So you're sculling out to the side, extending our elbows, and then in over our head to touch our hands together. You want to make sure that you try and keep a bit of a bend in your arm the whole time and that your palms are facing the ceiling. You're always moving your arms either away from your body or towards your body, never pushing your hands towards the ceiling. And we're going to be doing it 30 sculls. Well done, everybody. The next skill you're going to learn how to do is called reverse propeller. And our hands are kind of like fish, where they kiss and then they swim away from each other. And our arms kind of look like a ballerina dancer when our fingers are together, and then they look like little ears when they come apart. In this skull, you want to make sure that you keep your shoulders stationary as well, and you're just turning your arms in and out all the way and bending at the elbow to make you travel. Normally we'd be traveling head first in this skull if you were doing it in the water in your layout position. And we're going to be doing 30 sculls in this one as well. Make sure that you're keeping your shoulders squeezed down your back, keeping your catto closed, and also keeping your chin lifted. And coming up on our last skull here. Well done, everybody. The next skull that we're going to be learning is called support skull. Some of you already learned this one. You want to make sure you keep your shoulders reaching towards the floor through your elbows, and you want to have your arm bent like you're holding a tray with your hands slightly angled upwards. And you want to make sure you're squeezing your armpits so that your elbows stay in one place the whole time. And the only joint that should be moving is your shoulder joint, rotating in and out. Our elbows stay bent the entire time. We're sculling all the way in so our fingertips touch around our belly button on our in sculls, and on our out sculls, we're rotating outwards to about 45 degrees, not too wide out to the sides. And we're going to be doing this 30 times. Well done, everybody. Nice job. The next skull that we're going to do is called front stationary sculling. In this one, you keep your fingertips extended upwards, and we're sculling right in front of our belly button the whole time. So we scull out and in front of our belly. Again, we're just rotating at the shoulder joint. We're doing this for 30 sculls. Make sure you keep your chin lifted, shoulders down, catto closed, fingers squeezed together, elbows bent, and wrists tilted upwards the whole time. This is also a skull you would do in your front layout. Well done, everybody. All right, so the next thing we're going to move on to is our last skull of the day, and it's called barrel skull. This one's a little bit more complicated. You want to start with your arms in a ballerina shape in front of you, and then you want to pretend that you're grabbing snow and pulling it towards you. So if you were outside and you were playing in the snow and you were digging underneath the snow and lifting it up above you in a circle, this is what it would look like. Make sure you're going always up in the skull. We're doing it 30 times. You don't want to be doing it downwards like doggy paddle. You want to feel like you're lifting your arms up, up, up every single time, one after the other. Well done, everybody. Okay, so we're going to move on to our flex set now that we're all warmed up. So we're going to reach for our toes in our pike stretch. We're going to hold this for a minute all together. Make sure that you're really pointing your toes, trying to reach as far as you can go. It should feel a little uncomfortable. I find when I'm stretching that I find it sometimes a little hard to breathe, but that is something that's really going to help you go further into your stretch. So make sure you take deep breaths in, and every time that you exhale, try to go a little bit further, just like I'm doing right now. Make sure you're pointing your toes the whole time and extending your knees, trying to get your nose to touch your knees, and reaching really far with your arms to try and pull yourself an inch further every single time that you exhale. You only have about 5 seconds left, so try to go as far as you can for the last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Well done, everybody. Come on up. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to grab onto one foot and you're going to extend your knee in front of you. I'm relatively flexible, so a modification for anybody who struggles with this stretch is to grab a towel or a sweater and actually place it around the underside of your foot, so it gives you a little extra leverage to be able to lift your leg up like this. You want to try to make sure that you keep those toes pointed in every stretch that we're doing today to practice keeping our feet engaged. We're making sure that we're holding onto our foot with both hands, pulling it towards our nose, balancing evenly on each bum. Nicely done. We're going to switch sides. Same thing on this side. If you struggle to reach your foot, make sure that you're using a prop to help you out. You want to make sure you're pointing your feet on this side as well and extending through both of your legs, reaching with both hands and pulling that leg towards your nose. If you find this stretch easy, try to sit up a little bit higher on both bum cheeks. And if you are sitting down, make sure you're balancing on both bums evenly. Nice work, everybody. So the next stretch that we're going to be moving into is our frog stretch. I'm going to do it facing the camera so that you can see. And this one, your knees are both bent behind you, and you're just trying to slide your knees as far apart as they can go. Try not to lock out your elbows too much because you can hurt your arms, so try to keep a little bit of a bend in them. And yeah, just hang out here, do your best to pull your knees as far apart as they can go. Keep your feet pointed and active behind you. Make sure that every exhale that you have brings you closer to the floor. Nicely done. And moving right into our one-legged frog stretch. So in this one, you're going to extend one leg out to the side. The other leg remains bent behind you. Both feet are pointed, making sure that you're actually engaging the leg that is straight, extending it, pulling your kneecap up into your thigh, and still trying to keep a slight bend in your elbows so that you don't lock out your arms. With every breath that you take, you go a little further. And we're going to be switching legs. On this side, same thing. Make sure that you're really engaging the leg that is extended out to the side, pointing both feet in the leg that is extended and the one that is supporting and bent behind you, keeping those elbows bent in front of you and trying to pull your legs apart. Go a little bit further with every exhale. Well done. Everybody can come up and take a little break. We're moving into our straddle stretch next. And so you're going to get your legs as wide as they can go and reach forward in front of you, trying to crawl your fingers forward even further every single time that you exhale. Make sure that you are engaging your thighs and extending those legs by pulling your kneecap up into your thigh muscle. You also want to make sure that you're keeping your toes pointed the whole time through your ankles and through your toes, scrunching your feet and showing your wrinkles. Make sure that you are reaching further and further with every exhale. We really want to try and get our belly button to touch the ground. That's the ultimate goal in this straddle stretch. If you struggle in the stretch to go farther, a helpful tool can be sitting on a pillow. So if anybody needs to do that, you can give that a go. Well done. We're going to go over to one side, one leg, and we're going to open up with our arm holding onto our foot to get a good side body stretch. You may feel this in your hamstrings, but most of you will feel it in the side of your body. This is a good quadratus lumborum and lat stretch, and those are muscles that bend your body sideways, so important for us to hit those. And we're going to reach to the other side and do the same thing on this side so that we're not lopsided. Make sure that you're still balancing evenly on both bum cheeks. Our legs are still extended and our toes and ankles are still pointed. Always remember to breathe in your stretches, and we're nearly done. Excellent work, everybody. Come on up. The next stretch that we're going to be moving into is called a runner's lunge. In this stretch, we're going to be keeping our knee on the ground behind us. We're going to make sure that our heel is underneath our knee and the front leg. We're keeping our hips square towards the wall. We're keeping our back foot pointed, and we're keeping our shoulders over our hips. Try to keep your hands off the ground if you can. If you are struggling to balance, you can keep your hands on the floor, but for more of a challenge, try to stay upright like I am in this example. And just breathe through the stretch. Try and get your bum closer and closer to the floor with every exhale. Well done, everyone. We're going to be switching legs. So the other foot will be going in front, making sure that the heel of the front leg is underneath the knee of the front leg. We're keeping our back knee on the floor and our foot pointed. Our shoulders and hips are as square as they possibly can be to one wall, and we're balancing with our hands on our front leg and our shoulders over our hips, trying to reach our bum closer to the floor with every exhale. Again, if you're struggling, you can put your hands on the floor, and if not, you can have your hands on your front knee or on your hips like I'm demonstrating here. Nearly done. And come on down. Excellent work, everyone. We're going to be moving into a cobra stretch, everybody's favorite stretch. So we're just going to have our hands by our hips with our elbows extended. If you are not as flexible as I am and you need to have a slight bend in your elbows, that's all right. Try to keep your feet together behind you and your legs and feet both engaged with extended knees and pointed feet, keeping your chin lifting to the ceiling. We're really trying to press our hip bones into the ground and open up through our belly. If you feel any pressure in your lower back, try engaging your ab muscles. That should help alleviate some of the pressure. Well done, everybody. Come on up.